Michelle Beck in Buckingham County, and coming up on US 6, I'm talking to the very people who live and breathe this air, getting their divided opinions over that compressor station set to be built right behind me.
New at 6 tonight, Union Hill is a community in Buckingham County that could be directly impacted by the construction of the Atlantic Coast Pipeline.
CBS 19's Michelle Beck headed to Union Hill today to talk with a community leader opposed to the compressor station that could be built there. She joins us now with more. Michelle.
Hey, Dan and Tara, opponents have several issues with the compressor station, including pollution and safety. I also spoke with Dominion Energy today. They told me the company still plans to build the station, but there will be a community support package that comes with it. In advance of the controversial Buckingham compressor station set to start construction late next year in Union Hill, there's potential for peace. It comes in the form of a $5.1 million investment proposed by Dominion Energy to go towards building a new community center and amping up an emergency response team. Dominion spokesperson Aaron Ruby sees this investment as an opportunity.
We do believe that we have an obligation to invest in the community, to strengthen the community, to help them build a better future.
Reverend Paul Wilson, who is the pastor at the Union Grove Baptist Church, interprets it differently.
That money symbolizes to me that it's part of the propaganda that Dominion is using just to say, this is what we have done. We've made peace with this community, and this is what the community is accepting, and all of us were not in agreement with that.
He says he was at the meeting when the idea for the community center was brought up by Dominion.
Those of us who were not in agreement with it in the beginning, we were excluded from any final agreements that were made.
In a community engagement report, Dominion includes records of meetings with the community, including ones with the Reverend.
I think a lot of it has to do with just treating people with dignity and respect and listening to their concerns and seeing if there are ways that we can address their concerns.
But this peace offering doesn't address all of the Reverend's concerns.
If it was another one's history, the compressor station wouldn't even be in the area. Let me put it that way.
Union Hill is a predominantly African-American community built by freedmen decades ago, and some critics say that is another reason it's part of the pipeline route. Tomorrow, I'll be talking to the residents themselves who have said yes and no to the proposal. Reporting live in the studio, Michelle Beck, CBS 19 News.
As we reported last night, Dominion will not only build a compressor station in Union Hill, but give a $5.1 million support package.
But that is just the start of the divided responses from the community. CBS 19's Michelle Beck spoke to people directly impacted. Michelle?
Hey, Dan and Tara, responses to the compressor station aren't between a simple yes and a no. It's a spectrum of opinions, arguments, and ideas for the future.
I live about a mile, and Marie lives about a half a mile.
The proposed gas compressor station in Union Hill is dividing the community. There's a number of reasons why, starting with safety and health.
Even from the construction, there will be a lot of particulate matter.
Geese fly in.
Joyce Gooden isn't too concerned about that. She lives about a mile and a half from the site, on top of the Transco pipeline.
We don't have 4-eyed cows.
Plus, Gooden says Dominion heard her request for an emergency response team, $1.5 million set to go towards it. Her reasoning for that?
The options are a compressor station with benefits to the community, or a compressor station and no benefits to the community.
Chad Oba doesn't see it as either or.
I think it's good to donate to the local rescue and fire squad, emergency response team. But why can't you do that anyway without a compressor station?
That's why she and the Friends of Buckingham are saying no pipeline, period.
We're standing strong. We're saying no. We're saying let's protect ourselves. Let's take this as far as we can possibly take this, because it isn't welcome in our community.
Gooden sees Dominion as an incoming member of the community.
Let's move on if it's going to be here.
Down the road, her cousin John Laurie lives with his wife Ruby. They are witnessing these divided responses shaping their community's future.
Dominion has a powerful propaganda machine. They have people who know how to divide.
Now, of course, the Lauries want no compressor station and Gooden wants an emergency response team. But both have said they just want a better future for Union Hill. Reporting live in the studio, Michelle Beck, CBS 19 News.
Environmentalists say they are outraged at Governor Ralph Northam after the governor removed 2 members from the State Air Pollution Control Board and right before a big vote. CBS 19's Michelle Beck joins us now in the Satellite Center. Michelle.
Dan, this board will decide whether or not a compressor station for the Atlantic Coast Pipeline will be built in Buckingham County. Environmentalists say they believe the governor's move was in support of the controversial pipeline, plus they're suspicious about the timing of it all. This morning, environmentalists protesting to hold the governor accountable.
And we're asking, sir, respectfully, you came in saying you were the environmentalist governor, and you've been sitting on your hands, and we are deeply, deeply outraged.
Protesters' anger ignited over the week, with beliefs that the governor had a motive behind removing 2 members of the State Air Pollution Control Board.
Rebecca Rubin and Samuel Bleicher had posed the most piercing questions to Dominion during 2 days of Air Pollution Control Board hearings on November 8th and 9th in the Convention Center in the heart of Richmond.
November 9th was the date for the original vote. The vote was delayed to December 10th. Rubin writing in part, one of the board's key purposes in postponing that vote was to have much needed time to assimilate and reflect upon the information provided. Instead, Rubin was removed. Today, she told CBS 19 it would have been less disruptive to allow those same board members who are already involved in the process to proceed to the December 10th vote as planned. Anything less than that, and I would wonder what the Commonwealth construes due process to be. The governor's office denies that there's any link to the pending vote, saying the terms of 2 members serving on each of these boards expired at the end of June. One of the new members, Kajal Kapoor, tells CBS 19 she doesn't know if she's ready for the December vote until she gets the material and reviews it. Until the day of that vote,
this is the thing that makes me lose sleep at night.
Protesters fear how the moves today will impact tomorrow.
We care more about a quick dollar than we do about protecting the earth where our children are going to have to live.
Ahead of the December vote, Dominion Energy says that it's confident the board will approve of this permit, which has, quote, the strongest environmental protections of any compressor station in the country. Live in the Satellite Center, Michelle Beck, CBS 19 News.